Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Shalom. Peace. Salam Allah. Peace to the gods. Peace to the goddesses. Peace. Peace is a universal greeting which only the righteous abide by willingly, according to Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Beloved, today we're going to cover part number 5 of the elaboration of the 99 actual facts from 1984. But before I get into the gist of that, I wanted to bring your vibration up just a little bit. So I want to clear some of the fog, if you will. So that you can see clearly that there is no God but Allah who came in the person of Master Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever, and that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his first, last, and only messenger. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's a letter that I wrote to my beloved brother, Assistant Prime Minister Joshua Asadi A.Z. It was titled basically on Peter and Paul. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but we had to mathematically make sure that no mistake was made regarding the theology and theosophy of the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So it's going to help you better understand this dichotomy, this struggle, so that you'll understand that our niyat, or our intention, is to preserve and perfect the messenger's message in this age of mess. Beloved, I'm going to just simply read some excerpts. This treatise was really written for somebody that was really more advanced in the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So it's really not for what you would call the lay person. It's more for people that's already familiar with the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, people that already is familiar with the prophecies of the Bible and prophecies of the Quran, people that know me, know the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, know Master Farrakhan Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as far as their teachings, know Brother Minister Joshua Asadi A.A. So this is just going to help you get a behind-the-scenes peek, if you will, of how the angels be building with the life-giving teachers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So let me get into this. Let me read some from this letter. I just want to read an excerpt from page number 3 real quick. The messenger taught us in the Holy Theology of Time, pages 7 and 8, which is the date of June 4th, 1972, if you listen to the tape. The messenger said, and I quote, "You notice that the whole universe is egg-shaped. The planets in the universe is also egg-shaped. They are not a perfectly round sphere. Well, this is leaving a little work for some wise man. That is, that I am not able to perfect. Then someone must perfect that thing. This is the way that we look at wisdom. When scholars are arguing with each other, they take one word most time. They don't take a whole book. Only one word is sufficient for them to argue on. If that's not perfect, then all right, he challenges you to prove your work. These are scientists by Messenger Elijah Muhammad, the Holy Theology of Time, page number 7 and 8, dated June 4th, 1972, in Chicago, Illinois." The messenger goes on to quote from the Holy Supreme Wisdom, book number 2, page 32, which was published back in 1952. He said, and I'm saying, "The so-called Negroes will build the new world of truth, freedom, justice, and equality will be built by the so-called Negroes. Allah, God himself, has chosen them to do so. Islam will be the new world's religion. There are many other than the devils who are actually ignorant of the fact that Islam of the new world will also be a new Islam. For there are some practices of it, today's Islam, that won't be necessary in the new world. The new world will make the so-called Negroes a new people. The so-called Negroes will be the beneficiaries of the new world, for they too will be made new by Allah. They will take on a new growth, spiritual as well as physical, and will become the most beautiful, the most wise, the most powerful, and the most progressive people that ever lived. That's a quote by Messenger Elijah Muhammad, The Holy Supreme Wisdom, Book 2, page 32, published in 1957. Let's look at two quotes from the Messenger on page number 6. The Messenger explained, quote, The Theology of Time, page 188, published by Myth Society on August the 20th, 1972. Actually, I shouldn't say published, but it was republished by Myth Society, but it was originally published on August 20th, 1972 in Chicago, Illinois. The Messenger said, and I quote, In the making of God himself, he could not have a will until he had brains capable of thinking. He was self-created from an atom of life. He as well had to produce flesh, bone, and blood from the earth that he was created on. I want you to know this well, and I will repeat it time and again. I will go to no limit of an argument with you that he was made on the very earth that we are on now. It was not exactly as it is today. It was only an atom itself. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, The Holy Theology of Time, page 188, published by Myths, originally published August the 20th, 1972, in the Theology of Time lectures or series. The Messenger goes on to explain in The Holy Secrets of Freemasonry, page number 10, quote, Islam is not a religion. Let me repeat that, because y'all are so spooky. So many FOIs and MGTs are like hybrid Orthodox Muslims. Like you can't tell if they talking about a mystery of law or the black man is God, if they're talking about Master Muhammad or some spook of law in the sky somewhere. They mixing it all up. I mean, the messenger's message in this age of mess, and it is a mess, but the messenger's message still is going to shine clear. A, the black man is God. B, Islam is not a religion. Islam is the nature in which black folks self-created themselves over 114 trillion years ago, family. I mean, from the mind into the matter. See, from the energy into the atom. I mean, from the creator to the creation. No matter what nomenclature or how you want to see it. Religious folks, they see it as alcoholic or the creator. Scientists see it as energy, the Big Bang Theory and all that. We keep it real simple, real natural, real scientific. Mind, man. See what I'm saying? It's like the energy light bulb. It's not complicated. See, truth is not some sophisticated, highly complex. It's right before your very eyes. When you screw a light bulb into the socket and the light bulb come on, what you think is happening there? You know what I mean? Like when you plug your iPhone or your Galaxy, when you plug your phone up and it charges up and you're able to see somebody, on the other side of the world on your phone, if you're able to Zoom or you're able to text somebody or make a phone call and send a transmission and a receiver through this smartphone, why is you acting so stupid with this smartphone? It's like that phone came out of the brain of some human being. There was no mystery, God. The Messenger says in the Holy Secrets of Freemasonry, page 10, quote, Islam is not a religion. We call it a religion, but it's not a religion because it is the nature of us. Therefore, the nature of us can't be called a religion. That's why the 30th chapter and the 30th verse of the Holy Quran teaches you that Islam is not a religion, but it's the nature in which we were born. Now, you're going to have pseudoscientists, rookie teachers. I mean, the Messenger warned us in Message of the Black Man in America. He said, if a person teaches a thing which he or she in this matter, if he does not know himself, he can be charged with lying to the people. See what I'm saying? Like, just because you got a microphone or a bow tie, that don't make you a minister or a teacher of the messenger's message and age. You're a teacher of the messenger's message if you're echoing and teaching the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as he taught it. See what I'm saying? Let me move on. That was page number 6. We're going to give you a quote now from page, skip over 5, 6, and 7, in fact. We're going to go to page number 8. This is an old letter to Brother Minister Josh. It's an unpublished book. But we're going to give you some behind the scenes quotes because these quotes is important for you to consider. The Messenger explained to us in Al Sayers Arrived, the Holy Al Sayers Arrived, page 146 back in 1974, quote, the will of Allah must be done. Allah, God, could not have a will himself until he had brains himself. Allah's, God's will could not be done as long as he has an enemy powerful enough to force his rule against the will of God. We're on part 5, I believe. In parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, I shared with y'all on the elaborations of the 99 actual facts, different aspects of the messages, teachers on these lessons, different elaborations. For the naysayers, we paused and included a detailed analysis and comparison and by juxtaposing the problem book with the 99 actual facts to show you that Masfar Muhammad was quoting these 99 actual facts in the 1933 problem book that paralleled with what he was teaching in the 99 actual facts lesson. The Messenger personally is sitting at the dinner table doing his table talks, talking to different ministers, but one minister brings up the question about, the earth and, how we've been on earth for 76 trillion years and, 2 trillion years before that, our sun 78 trillion years. And the messenger like, hold up, pause, homie. I mean, like you getting a little out there. Now, let's bring it back down to earth. Let's keep it real simple. Let's get back to basics, if you will. He's like, listen, don't think that high science is over the basics. It's things like, nah, like you go right over the people's head, giving them meat before milk, if you will. So the messenger thing was teach them the lessons. See what I'm saying? Like every day, build on them lessons. Like get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of that student Roman rules of Islam. English lesson number C1, Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1, Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, the actual facts, the problem books. He wanted us to study our lessons because our lessons were our blessings. So the messenger goes on to explain to us in the Holy Holly to Live, book number 2, pages 131 as well as 132, technically, in 1972, quote, In fact, as Allah taught me that the scientists of Islam write all of our life histories on what we will do, even to the name of any outstanding person among us 25,000 years in the future. In this way, they must respect the knowledge of foreknowledge of God by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. The Holy How to Eat to Live, Book 2, pages 131 and 132, published in 1972. I mean, you know, many people are, how would I put it? I would say that they're immature in their Islam. Like, if they don't see themselves in a certain situation, they don't want to see nobody in that situation. But see, when you come to Islam, you got to come humbly in Islam. I mean, it's like you're not looking for nothing. You're not asking for nothing. You're just happy to serve. I mean, like, I never, ever, anybody that know me, I'm talking about people that grew up with me, family, friends, homies, homegirls, you know what I mean? Like, ever since I was like 14, I always was businessman. I was managing 2 stores when I was 14. It's people physically alive today, they'd be like, yeah, I know him from 12th Street. Yeah, he worked for Yaya, Johnny Bird. Yaya, you know, who had the store at 12th and Negro. Yeah, Alif helped build that store. We physically built the floor, the shelves, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Cleaned out the basement, fixed it, painted it, made apartments upstairs. That's what I was doing when I was 14, 15 years old, working with my old head, Yaya, who was a former Muslim follower of Elijah Muhammad, went to Vietnam with his friends, lost a lot of homies, you know what I mean? You know, and the business was successful. It was unethical under the devil system because he did it without a license, permission, none of that from him. He ain't asked white man nothing. This is how my old heads was moving. I'm like, okay. Now I mean, like, okay, Miss, you know, the lady around the corner, she got her little liquor thing going on, little speaky thing. They hustling over there. You know, I'm like just hair no band. I'm just a soldier in the struggle with these mentally dead. But they conscious in their own way. In the street, they conscious. I mean, his business was so successful. He was able to open up another business 2 blocks down. I mean, he opened up the one at 12th and Negro, which was physically across, meaning from my bedroom, I could look out my window and look directly inside the store. That's how it's a phone booth in the store. It's like physically directly across from my house. I mean, and 2 blocks down, he opened up another store, J&B Varieties. Now, I mean, you know, Johnny Bird Variety Store. He opened another one on 13th Street. We at 12th and Negro back there, 5800 block of 12th Street. 2 blocks down, he opened up another business. That business becomes a $1 million business. Okay, we got the seafood van in front of the store. By then he had all the paperwork, the license, inspections, all that stuff. We didn't went through it with the white folks coming there trying to shut us down. You know, it was a lot of undercurrents, a lot of street stuff that I would never even talk about, but we made it happen. I mean, and you know, so this is, you know, like my mom, my sisters, my childhood friends, all my childhood homies. They like my homie Daryl and Steven and Smitty and Garnet and Peter, my little sisters, my older sister, all them coming in the store seeing me at the counter, doing the food, the money, the whatever. We got that thing under the counter for protection. This is at 14, 15. So in my brain, I don't think I'm not thinking school and college and the military. I'm on some other stuff. I'm mentally dead with it. But at the same time, I'm conscious. I'm in survival mode with it. Now I mean, so it's like, you know, I'm like, yo, if I'm getting paper, I'm like, yo, I'm into bikes at the time. I'm into dirt bikes and mopeds and motorcycles and all that. I mean, so it's like clashes that I'm having with the 10%. I mean, but at the same time, I ain't never been one scared. You know what I'm saying? So we doing us. You know what I mean? But I'm making enemies at the same time as I'm making friends, helping friends, protecting family. Now, I mean, homies like, yeah, Ace is going to ride. I'm going to ride or die with you. See what I'm saying? So if it's a problem, we're going to handle that. You know what I mean? So when the messenger teach us, quote from the Holy Holly to Live, Book 2, page 131, 132 in 1972, he said, quote, in fact, as the law taught me that the scientists of Islam write all of our life histories on what we will do, even to the name of any outstanding person among us 25,000 years in the future. In this way, they must respect the foreknowledge of God. That stuff resonates. I mean, because you get to thinking, you'd be like, wait a minute. Before I was born, my Uncle Poozy, named me Asha for some reason. The night prayer. The end of prayer. That's like in Sunni Islam, you got, you get up in the early morning for the sunrise, you make your prayer, two rakats, you got your Fajr, your Thor, your Arsh, Maghrib, and Isha. The Isha prayer are the night prayer, but this Isha is also mentioned in the Hebrew in the Bible, is bonded with El, meaning God, as Elisha. I'm not intentionally controlling anything. I'm too stupid. I'm too savage. I'm too mentally dead. I'm drinking, smoking dust, drinking my 40s, smoking weed, got guns. I have no desire whatsoever to ever enter into the ministry. I would never, ever think of going to temple service, Jumar, church service. The only God I worship was moolah, money. That's the good side. In my mentally dead, savage state, I wasn't waiting on Jesus. I wasn't praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I wasn't trying to be righteous. None of that. It's like everything God said thou shalt not do, I was doing. Everything the devil was doing, I was doing. It's like you would not want to come at me with some holier than thou stuff. I would give you as Jehovah's Witness, Muslim, Christian, but at the same time, everybody knows you'd be like, oh, I always had an extreme good side. Always, even as a youngster, I was the neighborhood psychologist. The girls came to me with their problems. I could talk to the sisters, help them out with whatever problems. The homies come to me. Like, my sister's bear witness, like, next door to our house was an old house. I turned that to my personal house. This day and time, young boys call them trap houses, whatever. Next door to our house, 5853 North 12th Street, that was my house. Like, this the house, I come out my window, go on the roof, go into the crib. Boom, we got our own locks, own furniture, table. We take counsel, things, whatever. And we meet up in here. Ace Monday, 40 Thieves. We do our thing, whatever. But we wasn't on some savage stuff, but we definitely was about protecting the hood, getting this paper, and making things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And nobody in my crew was on some spooky stuff. We all had different levels, different degrees. There definitely was like hustlers way bigger than me, older dudes, on some next level stuff, Mr. Art, me Shane, names I ain't gonna get into, but my old head that I worked for, Yaya, he was like the Don of Dons to me. Like, if anything he would have told me to do, I would have handled that. And he was doing this thing. That's how it was. But at the same time, I'm hearing little stuff that's like, like an old friend of mine, Wendy Green, old girlfriend. She was deep in the church, her family deep in the church. She always trying to get me to go to church. I never went to church with her, but she used to always be like, you're really Elisha. And I mean, and, you know, she talking stuff that was going over my head. It was too deep for me. I'm like, I ain't studying no Bible. I ain't, you know what I mean? You know, nah, I mean, you know, and then it's like, Yah telling me like, you know, Isha is the night prayer, this, that, and the other, and you know, and I was like, I don't know Arabic. It's like, whatever my mom and dad, you know what I mean, chose, you know, it's like, I don't go by Isha. Call me Ace, man. I mean, call me Ace Money. You know what I mean? We're going to keep this real. Call me, you know, some Billy Dead stuff. I'm not going by no righteous attributes and none of that. But then when I meet Brother Minister Isan from the Nation of Islam, he names me Elisha Fard Muhammad. I really don't understand the significance of the name like that, but it's like I'm humbled and like appreciate it and accepted it. I mean, you know, but it was like, fruit was like Brother Minister Elisha. I mean, you know, then when I'm reading scriptures, I'm like, oh, it's Elisha in the Bible. It's an Elijah in this Bible. Hold up. Elisha is going to ask Elijah for a double portion of his spirit. I mean, you know, but it was never my niyat or my intent to be a minister of the Nation of Islam, to really like, to this day, I'm like the reluctant minister. Anybody, you see what I got on right now? I ain't with the bow ties, and that's not, I could do that. I've done that. You know what I mean? I could clean up real good. You know what I mean? I could do the traditional, but it's like subconsciously, I'm like, that ain't me. You know what I'm saying? I could like open up this little podcast or whatever and be like, let us make prayer. In the name of Allah came the person of Master Muhammad, the Supreme Allah, to whom all praises due forever. In the name of his first, last, and only messenger, the most humble Elijah Muhammad. I can include the Honorable Brother Mr. Farrakhan, the Honorable Salas Muhammad. I could pray in the name of all the mighty FYs and MGTs, GCCs, Junior FY, the elders. But in my brain, I'm like, Allah is all of us. It's like the messenger told the messenger, the black man, answer your own prayers. So subconsciously, you just get this dominant idea that just like mathematically modifies your mathematics. So when it comes to the lessons, you know, I'm studying those lessons. I'm literally like learning lessons. Now I mean, like, okay, these lessons is our blessings, and studying these lessons, you start, without even realizing it, you start realizing like, what is this minister talking about? What is this minister talking about? Who is that mystery God? Like, they talking about a mystery. Like, the other people say, they be like, oh, praise to Allah. Do you be like, yo, no, what did you talk? That's not talking about, you're not talking about the black man is God. You're talking about a sky God. You're talking about law in us, and Allah gonna bless us, and the physical dead went to Allah. What a law? Oh, wait a minute. Nothing in the teachings of Elijah Muhammad teaches us about a mystery God. I mean, we ain't working with that. A brother or sister physically died and that body is going to Allah. Some people literally be like, the physically dead is not dead. They ascended. Ascended where? On cloud number 9? On scout ship number 642? Spookism. So it's like you be trying to like be patient. You be trying to like suppress your true feelings in it, but you be like, it's my job to wake the people up. It's our duty to teach the truth. It's our duty to wake them up. Know what I mean? So we got to be like, only the messenger's message is going to guide our people through this age of mess. So let's turn to, that was page number 8. Let's look at, we're going to now look at page number 9 real quick. All right. The messenger goes on to say, this is from the Holy Theology of Time, page 157. The exact date was August the 6th of 1972, and the city was Chicago, the state of Illinois, the country of the United States of America, the planet Asia, now known as Earth. The messenger said on August 6, 1972, quote, no one is given that hour but God himself. And then he passes it over to that angel that you read of in the Revelation that places 1 foot on water and 1 foot on land. This is a letter from me to my assistant minister, Joshua Sadi-Allah, A.Z. All right. I went on to explain to him, the angel of Allah places 1 foot on the water and the land. There are 12 inches in 1 foot. The messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us there are 12 inches on a ruler. 12 plus 12 equals 24. Then I gave him a quote from the Holy Quran, chapter 31, verse 34, that reads, quote, surely Allah is He, Arabic huwa. Surely Allah is He with whom is the knowledge of the hour, and He sends down the rain, and He knows what is in the wombs, and no one knows what He will earn of the morrow, and no one knows in what land he will die. Surely Allah is knowing, aware. I'm going to quote something that's in this letter. It's about an elder of ours, Elder Rasulullah, Russell 5X Vance, who used to be Brother Minister Jeremiah Shabazz's secretary. And shout out to the beloved General Nasheed Allah, who was Brother Minister Jeremiah Shabazz's not just captain, but actual personal security. All right. Elder Rasul he's the one that actually taught me about nonprofits. Now, I mean, like, he actually used to sit us down on the floor. Shout out to Supreme Angel A.A. Now, I mean, you know, we used to sit on the floor, and, you know, he used to get all this paperwork and everything. And, you know, and it's like we taking notes, and, you know, and I used the information back in the 80s to establish Kareem Abdul Muhammad Incorporated. And Kareem used the information to establish his own, what would you call his company? His company is more like a, it's for when you physically die, you know how they make the tombstones? He actually makes those tombstones, but that's his nonprofit. So we use that information. At the time, we were teenagers. We was teenagers at the time, but we grew, and, you know, naturally we learned more and more and more, and now, you know, we're both teaching others, helping other people, you know, around the world. But it comes from studying the life-giving teachings of Elijah Muhammad. So I'm gonna read this little bottom part of the letter that I had sent to Joshua, because it mentions something from Elder Rasul from his book, BTS. His nonprofit is called BTS Incorporated, or Back to Society Incorporated. He's the one that explained to me, contrary to the devil's tricknology, there was no Black Mafia in Temple Number 12 and none of that. Black Brothers Incorporated was a IRS recognized 501c3 non-stock nonprofit. You know, they had a judge donate like 200-some-thousand. They was getting little they was helping the hood. They was stopping gang wars, stopping drug addiction, cleaning up the community. They, you know, they was saving lives. They definitely was helping me and my little mentally dead savage crew. Know what I mean? So Elder Rasul explained, and Rasul's the type person like college graduate, electronic journeyman's, you know, he's own businesses. I always was like, you know, was a U.S. Marine, top-notch decorated soldier, all that kind of stuff, but still stuck in the wilderness of North America. All right. There's so much misinterpretation and misunderstanding about our mother plane and the 1,000 years of fire. Some say the mother plane is symbolic, and others say it is real. The messenger said, it is both. Before we go into the reality of our mother plane, let us reflect on another aspect of the 7 dimensions: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, soul, self, and will. The first review on the back of my book, Elaboration of Allah's Lessons. Oh, I forgot. Elder Rasul wrote the book review for that. Now that I think about it, was written by my elder Abdul Rasul Allah, Supreme Angel name Cipher O.O., who is the president of Back to Society Incorporated. This is what he wrote on the back of my book. This is a quote. This book informs, uplifts, and directs its reader into the higher realms of their mind, beyond the door of their physical consciousness by piercing the necessary veils. In this new age of spiritual awareness, we must be able to recognize, understand, and communicate with the highest essence of life that dwells within us. By Elder Rasul. Back to society. Shout out to my elder, beloved brother Rasul. All right. The messenger says, and the Holy Outsiders arrived, page 113 in 1974, regarding our mother plane. Some of the scholars take it literally, and some take it spiritually. I say the meaning is both literal and spiritual. That's not me, family. That's the messenger. The messenger said the mother plane is symbolic, but it's real. It's spiritual and literal. All right? I always believed in the spiritual and literal mother plane. You see? I never sat around waiting on the mother plane to come do for me what I had to do for myself. You know what I mean? The belief in the mother plane never took me into no spooky stuff. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's like, for me, it's like real simple. Like, if I go outside, if I go outside right now, it's 82 degrees outside. Now, I mean, if I see a flying airplane or a jet flying, if I see Elon Musk's rocket go into outer space and come back down and land on, I'm like, no mystery God did that. If the white man could heat up rocks and make helicopters and jets and submarines, why would I get spooky and doubt that black, brown, yellow, and red people can also heat up rocks and make flying craft? It's like, it's in human intelligence, it's in human ability. I mean, it's like just because, you know, we may not know the details, it's like when I see a Black Hawk helicopter, I never seen the details of that. Only the top military brass that had security clearance knew about the prototypes and how that thing would work and what the schematics looked like, the blueprints, and who was going to build it, who made the windows, who did the doors, who did the engines, the propellers. It's like, I have not, just like, all I know is like, okay, that scientists built them. You know, all the people that was at the hangar didn't know all the details. I mean, you had to have security clearances. I mean, they'd be like, nah, you know, your level, your security level wasn't high enough for you to know this part. I mean, you didn't know what type of weapons was on this joint. Now, I mean, your job might be just to develop the paint that's not going to erode or corrode. You know what I mean? You know, so you do your part. So I'm just a humble private soldier, just a sincere believer, doing my part in the Nation of Islam. Now, you know, as private soldiers in the devil's military, they grow in stature and rank and all that. Hey, it's like naturally in the Nation of Islam, you learn more, you see more, you do more, you start growing. But it was never my intent to be be a wazir or be a minister in the Nation of Islam. I mean, it's like, nah, you know, my thing is, you know, I would definitely be remiss if I didn't do my duty. If I can help our people help themselves, I'm gonna do my part. And that's basically what I do. I try to help our people help themselves by better understanding the life-giving teachings of Elijah Muhammad. The messenger goes on to say in the Theology of Time, the Holy Theology of Time, page number 328, October the 22nd, 1972, quote, and you can see it real quick here. I mean, I know y'all know how to freeze frame stuff. Y'all know computers way better than me, all right? There's no other messenger or prophet coming after me. I'm the last one of those kind of people. No warner will ever come after me. The only warner that will come after me is that one of whom you read about in the Bible, wherein it says he went and placed one foot on the sea, one on the side of land, lift up a trumpet, and his words were, the time as you know it, you will soon know no more. That man will have his feet in those positions because he's going to cut a shortage in gravity. So Allah taught me. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, the Holy Theology of Time, page 328, October the 22nd, 1972. Now let's look at page number 11. The messenger goes on. This is from the Bible, the book of Numbers, chapter 10, verses 1 through 3. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, make the 2 trumpets. See, most people think that there's going to be an angel with a trumpet, but actually, it's going to be 2. And the 2, let me read the scripture for you. All right. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, make the 2 trumpets of silver. Of a whole piece shalt thou make them, that thou mayest use them for the calling of the assembly and for the journeying of the camps. And when they shall blow with them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to thee at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Bible, Numbers, chapter 10, verses 1 through 3. I go on to explain to Brother Minister Joshua, once the doctrines of Aaron and Paul harmonize the various branches of the Nation of Islam will become the United Nations of Islam, or Universal Nation of Islam, and be what we already say we are, the Universal Nation of Islam. The old and the new will find their balance, and the 7 angels will be given 7 new trumpets that will be heard by all 7 dimensions of your mind. Remember, the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, soul, the self, and the will. Bible, Revelation chapter 8, verse number 1 says, and I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. You will see these 7 angels in the 7 dimensions of your own brain, and then it will dawn on you the understanding or picture of reality. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says in the Holy Theology of Time, page number 16, published on June 4th, 1972, quote, he's bound to attack us one day, but we have what they call in the Bible 7 angels with us. And the law told me he's not enough for one. All of the 7 would like to get a hold of him, but he's like a mouse among 7 hungry cats. And there's not a full meal of the mouse for one of these 7 cats. The messenger goes on to explain in the Holy Theology of Time, page number 22, which is June 4th, 1972, quote, he told me and taught me about what they would do. Our people, those 7 angels that you read about in Revelations, what they will do when he starts. They are capable of cutting a corridor in the air between this country and the other countries, confining all of his destruction in this sphere. Think over that, by Messenger Elijah Muhammad, the Holy Theology of Time, page 22, June 4th, 1972. Think that over, fam. Okay. In this letter on page number 13, family, we go into some actual facts, me and brother, Sister Minister Joshua Sadi Allah, where I basically was explaining to him the significance of Alif and the 1000, and I wanted to share with him from Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1 about the original man being the God and owner of the earth and knowing every square inch of it. Okay, so I put that there so that you can have it in context. All right, so I opened up, for 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. Bible, Psalms chapter 90, verse 4. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as a day. Bible, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. The term 1,000 not only refers to the 1,000 years, but the angel of Allah that executes the will of Allah during the 1,000 years. Not that the angel will physically live 1,000 years, but the angel's name is 1,000. 1,000 is the English way of saying the Arabic name Aleph. Aleph is not only the first letter of the Arabic alphabet, A, it also has a mathematical significance that represents 1,000. According to the Al-Marid Al-Qarid English Arabic Dictionary on page number 249, published in 1968, the Arab scholars say, quote, millennium now first meaning is alif by al-Baki. Okay. Thousand, now adjective, only means alif, ibid, in the same book, but on page 393. No matter how you say alif, the root remains the same, meaning 1,000. This is not only confirmed by the Arabic scholars and lexicon, but also in the Maulana Muhammad Ali's translation of the Holy Quran, e.g., meaning, for example, uluf is plural either for alf, meaning 1,000, or alif, a congregation, or in a state of union. Footnote number 319, Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 243. Brother Minister Joshua, I humbly declare that the state of union or unity is the universal nation of Islam. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. We will be a whole or nothing, a zero. We are the temple, place to learn of God. Masjid, place to worship God. Our lesson number 2 reveals that the earth is the home of Islam, and since the earth is 7,926 miles in diameter and 24,896 miles in circumference, we have 57,255,000 square miles of land. 1 cubic foot of common earth weighs 80 pounds, and 139,685,000 square miles of water. 1 cubic foot of water weighs 62.5 pounds. There is 12 inches in a foot and 5,280 feet in 1 mile. There are 63,360 inches in 1 mile because 63,360 inches divided by 5,280 feet or 1 mile equals 489,600 square inches, which equals 1 square mile. The land and water combined totals 196,940,000 square miles. 196,940,000 multiplied by 4,014,489,600 square inches equals, at a combined weight of 6,570 quintillion tons. The Supreme Allah, the Master Fard Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever, said, quote, because the original man is the God and owner of the earth and knows every square inch of it, and has chosen for himself the best part. By Prophet W.D. Fard, The Holy Lost Found Muslim, lesson number 1, number 3. The Supreme Allah, the Master Fard Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever, fulfilled the prophecies of the Jewish Messiah, Christian Christ, and Islamic Mahdi. He revealed the actual facts of creation. Page 14. Who has measured mathematically the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains and scales and the hills in a balance? Bible, Isaiah chapter 40, verse 12. The answer is the Supreme Allah, who came in the person of the Master Fard Muhammad, to whom all praise are due forever. He teaches through the FOI and MGT. He is making his own scientists today through his magnetic will. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, quote, in The Holy Fall of America, page 219, published in 1973, Allah God, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, has the power, and he is using his power on the wicked to bring them to their knees. Allah God is the greatest, and there is no equal to him. Allah God can take us by our own way of thinking and spin us as though we are a play toy. We cannot fight a successful fight against him. He is too powerful. He listens in on our thinking, and he is capable of making us to think and to do that which he desires to be done. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, The Holy Fall of America, page number 219, published in 1973. It goes on from The Holy Message to the Black Man in America, page 116, 1965. The messenger says, of course, Mr. Yaqub lived but 150 years, but his ideas continue in practice. He gave his people guidance in the form of literature. Let me read that again, because that might have went over some people's head. Of course, Mr. Yaqub lived but 150 years, but his ideas continue in practice. He gave his people guidance in the form of literature, what they should do and how to do it, how to rule the black nation. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, The Holy Message to the Black Man in America, page 116, published in the year 1965. Family, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Fard Muhammad in particular, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad being one with him, they're guiding the nation of Islam the same way. They're reverse engineering Dr. Yaqub Malik Shabazz, all right? They're guiding us in this day and time in the form of literature. If we do not have the messenger's message in this age of message, we don't have our lessons, which are our blessings. If we don't have the Supreme Wisdom, volumes 1 and 2, 1957, Message to the Black Man in America, 1965. If we don't have that Howdy to Live, book number 1, 1967. If we don't have that Howdy to Live, book number 2 in 1972, that Fall of America in 1973, that Flag of Islam in 1974, that Our Sails Arrive, and we're not going to have a foundation. We're not going to have a base to build the new world government of Islam. You see? So this literature and this guidance is absolutely critical. All right? The messenger goes on to say, this is from the letter, page number 15. I'm just reading Exodus. I'm just reading this one part. I ain't getting into all that. All right. The messenger says, in The Holy Fall of America, page 139, 1973, this points to the same prophecy. A lot of ministers ain't going to tell you about the messenger teaching on prophecies in the fall of America. I'm going to give you the messenger's teachings on it. This points to the same prophecy of the devil and his kingdom in the Revelation of John, Bible, that Satan and his kingdom would be burnt up and it would never rise again. In the epistles of Paul, there is a prophecy of the devil and his kingdom, that the devil was made for fuel for the fire. The Holy Quran refers to this prophecy in these words: fuel of hell is men and stones. So the fuel of hell is men and stones. We do not know why stones are put there with men. It could be referring to the hardness of the stone and to the hardness of the heart, and the hardness of the wicked against truth and righteousness. In the book of Revelation, Bible, it is prophesied there that an angel heralded a warning to the people that Babylon is falling. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, The Holy Fall of America, page 139, published in 1973. Here, me and Joshua in the letter, I explained to him, let me just read it. It makes sense to you. Short version is, Master Fard Muhammad is our spiritual father, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the Mary of the book, as Salas Muhammad argued for decades, which is correct. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the mother symbolically. She was spiritually impregnated with the seed of truth to give birth to the Christ child, Jesus. Many believers in this day and time are confused onto the Christ and Jesus. Let me give you the messenger's message in this age of mess. The messenger teaches us Jesus is, this is from the Field Journal's manual. Jesus is a sign of two men and a nation. He's a sign of Master Fard Muhammad in his birth, in the sense of his mother, Mary, Mimi Shabazz, got pregnant by God himself, Alfonso Shabazz. A lot of people like, Alfonso. There's no such thing as Alfonso in Arabic. Those that know Arabic be like, okay, Alfonso, a P? No, there's no P's in Arabic. But the length, you know, like the messenger used to say the Holy Quran and Mohammed and Muhammad for O and the messenger, it's the same thing. Like, y'all so spooky. I mean, but that being said, the nomenclature, the scientific terms is neither here nor there. That's scholarship stuff. But basically, Master Fard Muhammad, mother, the symbolic Mary, gets pregnant by God himself to give birth to Jesus, Master Fard Muhammad. He's a sign of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in his ministry. Jesus was a man raising disciples or ministers, Malcolm X, Minister Farrakhan, Silas, Jeremiah, and all of them, Sister Tanetta Muhammad, he made the blind see, the deaf hear, the dumb see, raised the mentally dead, he fed the multitudes with an economic program. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a prototype of Jesus, just like Master Fard Muhammad was a prototype of Jesus. But the so-called American Negroes, the so-called African Americans, you yourself is a prototype of Jesus in his crucifixion. They nail the nails of falsehood and affliction in the hand, symbolic to the works, so that Jesus, the so-called Negro, black people in the wilderness of North America and in the diaspora, we could not defend ourselves. We could not build a civilization. We could not go back to Africa. We couldn't go on the road of independence because they nailed our feet, our foundation, with the nails of afflictions. They nailed us to the crossroads of truth and falsehood. It was going east to west and north to south, family. It was heaven and hell over here in the wilderness of North America for black people. You see, they put a crown of thorns around the circumference of our brain. So we didn't have the right education, the right spirituality. We could not think properly. You see, the scriptures teach us, we asked them for water. And they gave us vinegar mixed with gall. They gave us trichology to drink. You see, we wanted to love and unite with each other, but a Roman soldier took his spear and they pierced Jesus in the side, and blood and water came gushing out. Dead men don't have blood and water gushing out. If you've ever seen somebody get shot up, ain't no blood and water gushing out once they dead. You know what I'm saying? If a man is dead, you come over there, you shoot him, you stab him, you hit him with a machete, you could cut his head. Ain't no blood gushing because the heart ain't pumping. He already dead. See, but the scripture says that the blood and water was gushing out, showing that Jesus on his crucifixion, he still was alive. You see, he was alive physically, but mentally he was dead. And he cried, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which is to say in the meaning, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? He prayed to a mystery God. And what did the Roman soldier say? He said, listen, he cried for Elijah. Huh? Jesus cried for Elijah, the so-called American name. We needed the messenger's message to guide us through this age of mess. All right? So I'm going to read to you I'm going to just read to you I don't even know what I'm going to read. I'm going to just read some excerpts from this one page right here. This is a letter to Joshua that I'm sharing with y'all. All right. The messenger said in The Holy Fall of America, page 234, 1973, quote, "The eyes and ears of the Lord God are open, looking and listening to their actions. It is not necessary for Lord God to use mechanical devices like cell phones and all that. A Lord God is physically real, and he has real physical eyes and ears. He is capable of seeing and hearing everything we do and say. He has power to defeat us in our plans which are against his plans." Brother Minister Joshua, keep in mind that the mother plane is an updated version of the original prototype of mother plane that was used by the black nation before any white people even existed. Many think that it is sitting 40 miles out from the Earth's sphere and guiding the course of the universal nation of Islam today. Not so. It is not the mother plane, but the mother plan, the direct teachings of Messenger Elijah Muhammad that is guiding us today. Master Fard Muhammad is our spiritual father. It's right there, fam. I explained to the God, Master Fard Muhammad is our spiritual father. Now let's look at what the messenger teaches us. The messenger said in the Holy Message to the Black Man in America on page number 4, published in 1973, quote, "He who has found us is our Father." Let me read it again. See, the pseudoscientists, the naysayers, they're going to take you out of the messenger's message in this age of mess. But if the messenger said it, we stand on that. We believe that. The believers believe as the messenger believed. I mean, we don't have a separate or distinct or different belief from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Fard Muhammad. You see what I'm saying? We don't change the lessons. The lessons change us. So the messenger said, "He who has found us is our Father, the God of love, light, life, freedom, justice, and equality. He has found his own, though his own does not know him." By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, The Holy Message to the Black Man in America, page 4, published in 1965. Our spiritual mother is Mary, Messenger Elijah Muhammad. She, meaning he, was mentally impregnated with Jesus. Jesus is from the ancient Kemetic or Egyptian prophecies and is a symbolic way of teaching that God is humanity. Messenger Elijah Muhammad says in the Holy Al-Sav Az-Zarah, page 162 in 1974, quote, "The king Herod desired most of all to kill Jesus. In his infancy," Bible, Revelation chapter 12, verse 4, tells us that the dragon stood before the woman. The woman here represents the messenger of God. The woman here represents the messenger of God. The child, think about this, the child represents the followers of the messenger. Quote by Messenger Elijah Muhammad in the Holy Al-Sav Az-Zarah, page 162, published in 1974. The king, meaning president, Jesus, so-called African Americans, infancy is a state of dependency. The dragon means the Pope of Rome. The woman, or the womb of man or mind, Messenger Elijah Muhammad. His followers are the FY and MGT who use the lessons, manuals, books, tapes, etc. of Messenger Elijah Muhammad, are all referring to black people in this day and time and not 2,000 years ago. The woman, Mary, is a code name for the last messenger of Allah in person. The messenger said in the Holy Message to the Black Man in America, page 127 in 1965, quote, "The woman in Revelation chapter 12, verse 4, actually refers to the last apostle of God, and her child refers to his followers, or the entire Negro race as they are called." As stated, the original mother plane was used before Dr. Yakub grafted the white race from the black nation. Some think it is sitting 40 miles out from the atmosphere, which is only 6 miles high. A person must rise higher than 6 miles to get into infinite space, and a person must rise beyond the 6th dimension of the mind to reach the 7th dimension, the will of Allah. The messenger says, and I like to quote him, this is at the bottom of page 16, going into page 17 that I'm quoting. The messenger says, in the Holy Fall of America, page 236 and page 237, back in 1973, quote, the same type of plane was used by the original God to put mountains on his planets. Why? Because this type of plane was used before the making of this world. Why should God make such a sign of his people to destroy a nation? Because this is the final destruction of that people who have opposed God and his purpose and aims for justice and righteousness. Allah, God, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, taught me that the plane is capable of reaching a height of 40 miles above the earth. His words could have been a sign. His words could have been a sign, meaning 40 years in which the plane would go into action, and not referring actually to 40 miles. Allah, God, does not speak one word that does not have meaning. Every word that he speaks has meaning. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, The Holy Fall of America, pages 236 and 237 and 1973. Brother Minister Joshua, in the above theology, we learn a valuable lesson. There are different dimensions to Allah's word. This is why people can swallow the new Islam, yet it turns their stomach. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. And it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again. Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. Bible, Revelations, chapter 10, verse 9 through 11. Those who claim that Paul's interpretation of Jesus' teachings were false should consider that Paul was the instrument the spiritual father used to clarify the mistakes that were going around after Jesus. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says this. I'm going to quote him, just so y'all can see. The Holy Hadith to Live, Book 2, page 122 in 1972, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, quote, the brotherhood of the Muslims is what Paul in his epistles preach. The brotherhood gets the clear sunshine. I'm going to quote the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's Original Rules of Instructions to the Laborers, number 4. The messenger goes on to say, in fact, I'm going to start with the quote from the messenger. From the Holy Theology Time, page 342, October the 29th of 1972. The messenger said, our work is to unite the black man in North America and all over the earth. As you will see pictures of the black man greeting each other from America all around this earth on the head of our paper. To teach you we're uniting. Just because I can't preach like Paul, should I curse out the angels? The messenger said, quote, just because I can't preach like Paul, should I curse out the angels? He said, no, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to unite with both Paul and angels. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, The Holy Theology of Time, page 342, October the 29th, 1972. Brother Minister Joshua, Assalamu alaikum is used by those who believe in the spirit of Allah and the reality of Allah. But Assalamu Allah is used only by those who believe in the reality of Allah. Messenger Elijah Muhammad said, he does not seek peace, he is peace. Peace is a universal greeting which only the righteous abide by willingly. He said, Allah is all of us. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, the Holy Original Rules of Instructions to the Laborers, number 4 says, quote, the laborers must practice the above language with all new converts. The laborers are liable to punishment if found using baby language at any time. The laborers must greet a registered Muslim in his own way. The messenger goes on to say in Al-Sayers arrived, the Holy Al-Sayers arrived, page 26, 1974, quote, Allah is all of us, by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. This is the next to the last paragraph, because a lot of y'all be thinking I'm making this stuff up. The messenger goes on and says, I am Allah and you are Allah. I am not anything more than you in that way. We are all Allah, by Messenger Elijah Muhammad, the Holy Who is the Son of Man, reprinted in Muhammad Speaks Continues, Volume 2, number 45, page 3, published by Brother Minister John Muhammad. The messenger goes on to say, the new heavens and the new earth are coming in now. The old heavens and the old earth are going out, as Peter prophesies in the epistles of Paul, Bible, by Messenger Elijah Muhammad, the Holy Al-Sayers arrived, page 117, published in 1974. The angels with Paul are not followers of Paul. They are followers of Jesus, meaning Messenger Elijah Muhammad, working with Paul in the judgment to bring in al-Jadi Islam, or the new Islam. The messenger says, and I quote him, our Savior has arrived. This is page 119 in 1974. To make all things new means to go to the very root of everything that exists. We are taught that we ourselves will become a new people. The Holy Quran teaches that he would cause the righteous to grow into a new growth. The Bible prophesies that you, meaning the righteous, will be changed in the twinkling of an eye. The disciples of Paul did not know exactly what you would look like in that changed form, but they concluded you will be like him, meaning Allah. He makes all things new. Allah, God, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, taught me that every 25,000 years, each God coming after the other God made a new civilization. His belief, teaching, and theology were different from the other God who preceded him, who made a beautiful change in the history of the wisdom of man. By Messenger Elijah Muhammad, the Holy Al-Savior has arrived, page 119, published in 1974. I'm going to pause right there. We're going to go into, I believe it's part 6 of the elaboration of the 99 actual facts, but I want to give y'all some theology facts so that y'all can have a foundation, because there's much more to come. Remember, only the messenger's message will guide us through this age of mess. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Alifullah. Messenger Elijah Muhammad was an avid student of the theology of the Bible, so he didn't make the mistake regarding how the church would be built. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as we shall see, clarified this, and he made it so simple and plain that I want to just quote him directly. But I want you to understand it from a theologian position. The scholars of the Bible will explain to you that there is a play upon the words, thou art Peter, meaning Petros, literally a little rock. And upon this rock, Petra, sounds like Petros, but it's Petra, different word, I will build my church. He does not promise to build his church upon Peter, but upon himself, meaning Jesus or Messenger Elijah Muhammad, as Peter himself is careful to tell us in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 and 9. That's the Schofield Study Bible's footnote number 1, page 1021. Let's look at what Peter himself said. The followers of Jesus followed Peter and Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Paul only to the extent that they were being led directly to Jesus. See, Jesus was in Christian theology over the Bible itself, or the Biblos. However, in the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad physically was not over the teachings of Master Fard Muhammad. The word of Allah is bond, and bond is life. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad clearly dedicated his life to serving Master Fard Muhammad as the Supreme Allah God who came in person to mentally resurrect the so-called American Negroes. His ministers led the believers to believe as the messenger believed. And the believers, the FOIMGT, we followed our ministers, our captains and secretaries as long as they led us to the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But only the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was held responsible for the word of Allah, because only the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was taught 3 years and 4 months from the Supreme Allah God who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever. So contrary to some of the followers of Peter that may misinterpret what he said or did, Peter himself was real careful in his observance in teaching the teachings of Jesus after the death of Jesus. Let's turn to that 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 to 9. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 to 9. Coming to him as to a living stone, rejected indeed by men, but chosen by God and precious, you also, as living stones, are being built up a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. Therefore, it is also contained in the scriptures, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he who believes on him will by no means be put to shame. Therefore, to you who believe, he is precious. But to those who are disobedient, the stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense. They stumble, being disobedient to the word, to which they also were appointed. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that ye may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. With this on the table, let us now look at the messenger's message in this age of mess regarding the rock that the church would be built upon. I would like to turn your attention to the Holy Our Savior Has Arrived, page number 24 and 25, published in 1974, directly from Messenger Elijah Muhammad, wherein he said, and I quote, "And remember what he said to Peter, upon this rock I build my church, After the injection of such poison, the so-called Negroes are lulled off to sleep with the death of the ignorant. The gates of hell will not try prevailing against itself, but the gates of heaven are now prevailing against the church and all that she stands for. And the gates of hell will not prevail against the gates of heaven. Allah and Islam. If Peter's confession was the only thing necessary for Jesus to build the church, he should have been able, with 12 disciples, to have converted all of the Jews and destroyed their temples with the stone of Peter. But he did not, for Jesus was not the founder of the white man's religion and church any more than was Moses or the former prophets of Allah, God.